Graham and his mom don't want to be involved, there's always an excuse.
Seen Easton in forever.
Sometimes I've seen Becky. She seems really excited about being a part of Easton's life, but when we're not face to face, she doesn't ever seem to follow through. Today will be my opportunity to be able to get the real story on what's going on with Becky and why she's sick all the time and not being able to help out, because the one thing these kids are going to need is help.
You know, it's good that, Katie's mum, wants to have a conversation with Graham's mum to find out what's really going on, Why is your son always stressed? Why is he always never really not here? Why are you never really not here? Because the matter of the fact is, Katie is due to have their baby soon, right? And they need to know, are they going to be parenting this as a couple? And also, are the grandparents going to be a part of this journey? Or is it a case of where her daughter's going to be parenting this child pretty much predominantly by herself, with also the help of herself, you see what I'm saying? So therefore, at least they know where they're at. So respectfully, it makes sense for them to want to have that conversation. It's a shame, though, it didn't happen any sooner, but let's continue.
I'm more ready to become a parent because I put in all the learning. And what have you done?
The sly dig.
You're the dad, too. You're supposed to be there.
Do I provide milk? No, I mean, I can't just...
You can still hold them.
Yeah, I can hold them, but I mean...
Some other people.
The only thing that I didn't like about Graham's response is something that wasn't put into this little clip here by myself, was the part where he responds by saying, yeah, but you're the mom. Basically saying that you are supposed to be the primary parent. The child is supposed to like you more. It was a very weird response. And that's why she was like, yeah, but you're the dad. And he's coming out with excuses of saying, yeah, but you're the one that's going to feed him anytime with the breast in and all that kind of stuff. Which, listen, some of those things may be true, but to have that attitude, that's not cool, because that means he's relying on her to pretty much be the parent most of the time. Like, I mean, generally speaking, a woman is the parent most of the time, but it feels as if like he wanted to be parent like majority of the time, you know what I mean? Like on that unhealthy level. But yeah.
And then Graham and Becky, because Graham's gonna need it.
I know that Becky really earned the right to be in the delivery room, but I'm letting Kaylee make her own decisions. And if she's counting on Becky to be there for Graham, I feel that I need to sit down. I
mean, listen, I understand why Kaylee would say it, because it'd be very awkward if Graham's mom couldn't be in the delivery room. And if anything, to be honest, the fact that she's saying that she can be in the room means that Graham is more guaranteed to be there, even though him getting there will always be on the back of Katie's parents. But yeah, but I can understand her mom not being happy with it, because of the lack of support and help.
I'm with her to come.
I noticed that, when Graham comes over, he's always stressed and a little worried. He's always talking about how that you have your health issues and stuff.
It's been going on since I was, a teenager. I'm bipolar.
With the bipolar, is that the reason why you can't drive?
I'll drive, but I don't like to.
A little bit more.
Listen, it's fair enough that she doesn't like to drive because of, having bipolar, which is completely fine, you know what I mean? End of the day, there's no point of her driving if she's going to be under stress, because obviously when you're driving, you got to drive in a way where you feel safe to drive, so that it is what it is, you know what I mean? But it's a shame because it means the responsibility of driving still falls on Katie's parents. Now, I guess, but from my understanding, they're 16, so that means he's eligible to learn driving. So I think Graham may have to learn to start driving soon rather than later. Of course, this is going to be more responsibility on his plate, more stress on his plate, but at the same time, though, he's the one that was sleeping with his girlfriend with no protection. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? You've got to live with the situation that you're now in.
Sympathetic. But I do kind of feel like we should have had this discussion sooner, so that way I could have understood a little bit better. I don't think the situation is resolved. There's still more to discuss, but this is a start.
Yeah, sometimes he needs to be with his mom, but sometimes he needs to be with me too, because...
There isn't even a because. You don't need a because. The matter of the fact is he's got a baby on the way and he needs to prioritize his baby over his mother. The same way his mother would have prioritized him over her mother. Do you see what I'm saying? As soon as we have kids, our priority on our kids. Do you see what I'm saying? Regardless of what the mom's got going on, either way, you can't leave this responsibility fully down to Katie and her family.
I am now his family too.
It's not going to be fun.
You get contractions either way.
Either way, you're right. But you're forcing your body into doing something.
Okay, then if you don't want me to get induced, then I won't go.
No, it's your baby. Do you want to be induced? I'm not telling you what to do.
So obviously Katie's getting frustrated with being pregnant. She's been pregnant for a while now. I keep running out of the screen. I don't know why. So Katie's obviously getting frustrated with being pregnant. And obviously, I don't know what that feels like, but I know women know exactly who've been pregnant know what that feels like. So from my understanding, she's getting to a point where she's becoming impatient. So now she wants the baby to come sooner rather than later, but having the induced. Now, I don't know if that's something that is going to be I don't know the side effects of that, you know what I mean? But personally, I would listen to her mum and say, listen, just wait for the baby to want to come out naturally. Don't rush the process. You don't need to do that. But as you saw right then and there, Kaylee was getting a bit agitated about that conversation. And that could easily be due to her hormones, not necessarily because she generally has a poor attitude. But nonetheless, though, let me know your thoughts with these two. And now let's move on to the next couple.
Yeah. Are you asleep?
I'm working a lot, trying to provide. And when I'm not working, I'm usually at Nadia's house and saw your kid down at midnight. And she said she was gonna talk to her mom, you know what I'm saying, try to balance the rules out about me staying over there. Like, what happened?
Honestly, like, again, for me personally, this has been my favorite couple of the season so far because I just feel like the way they vibe is so good. It's just that the mum, I hate the mum, to be honest with you. I don't know her, never will know her, never will meet her, but the way she behaves just stinks. I mean, listen, I get it. It's the mum's house, so therefore she's in charge of the response. She's in charge of who can stay in the house. Completely get that, but Daquan is out here literally doing the most to make sure that he's a part of this baby's life. She's already taken away his first ever moment of being able to be in the delivery room to see his child born. She took that away from him. You see what I'm saying? Now she's taken away the ability of him being able to stay at the same child as he has the same home as his child. Which, listen, respectfully, I understand it, but there should be a compromise. This boy is hella tired. He's out here doing work, making sure that he's got some money in his pocket to be able to provide for this baby. You see what I'm saying? Honestly, like, let's continue before I say too much too soon.
Never spent the night at my house, ever. And I don't think he will.
Is he asking to spend the night?
Why do you always do the most? Like, Dede should be able to stay the night, not every day, just, maybe weekends, but she's still not having it.
And I think that's a good compromise, Him being able to stay at least once a week is something. I mean, listen, I get it. Obviously, they got pregnant because I guess he was staying over or whatever happened. I don't know. But listen, at the end of the day now, I'm pretty sure that I would have liked to think that they've learned their lesson of having a kid so soon. But at the same time, both of them are handling it very, very well. The vibes are always positive. They're always flowing. It's just so wholesome to watch, But the mum is just cramping it. She's just making things worse. And what Anaya says, I don't know if she says it next, but says at some point, which we'll get to. I'll comment on them because literally when she said this, I said this literally about 5 minutes beforehand. But let's get into it.
Wait, sleeping. Come on, leaving. Mom would let Dede stay the night from time to time. He would be less exhausted because, he wouldn't have to be driving back and forth from my house to his house. I'm not really sure how much longer Dede will be able to, keep this up, because I can tell that he's really drained. It's, too much for him, and he just kind of, backs away.
Come on, y'all, let's go.
Leave. It'll be my mom's fault.
Now, what she's talking about here is the fact that she's afraid that this may become too much for him, so therefore he may not be there as much. This kid is working, but he's also driving back and forth. Graham, yeah. See, Dede's doing it right now. Daquan's doing it right now. He's driving back and forth to see his child and to see his woman. Graham, what's your excuse? Unless he's 15. No, he's 16, isn't he? He must be. Either way, though. As you see right here, okay, he's putting in the shift because he wants to be the best father possible. He doesn't want none of this generational nonsense to happen to himself, to happen to his child. You know what I mean? But at the same time, though, if he's always going to be tired, he's going to get to a point where he's going to get too fatigued. And if he gets too fatigued, listen, I don't believe that he's the kind of person that would then walk away from the responsibility of having his child. But I will tell you this now, though. There was a time in my life where I was working 2 jobs and I was still doing my normal gym activities, all that stuff, and I was literally living off 4 hour sleeps per day. I got fatigued and I ended up falling asleep behind the freaking wheel. Luckily for myself, I didn't hurt no one. I didn't hurt myself, and luckily even more for other people, I didn't hurt nobody else. You see what I'm saying? I'm very, very lucky, but that day was a blessing. That's the day that I'd learned that, listen, don't work hard, work smart, okay? Because it ain't worth it. That was like a warning, you know what I mean? It'd be a damn shame if he was to, potentially fall asleep behind the wheel as well due to being too tired because he's that desperate and he needs. Let's imagine that he's worked, but he really wants to see his child. You know what I mean? And he can only get himself there and then he falls asleep. Do you see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I feel like the mum needs to think about other things when it comes to it. Like I said before, and like she said before, at least if it's once a week, that'd be great. You know what I mean? But right now, Manny's doing the shift. And to be fair, by the time he even gets to see his child, he's probably dead tired anyway. Because you saw him already 2 scenes here of him falling asleep. So I reckon when he sees his child, he's probably sleeping 90% of the time when he's with his child. if not 95. What?
And being at the christening, he's just showing up as he should. He's definitely a good dad. And in a perfect world, we would be married and have a stable home.
And this is another thing. She's always praising her man. You know, she's always saying the way she appreciates him is amazing. It's a shame that the mother's out here being irritating.
I don't want to keep living in separate houses, but a lot of things have to happen before that happens. Like a lot. In the future, I could see myself marrying Naya because I don't want to keep living in separate houses.
I mean, listen, he definitely sees himself being wanting to be with Naya in the future, but obviously he understands that right now he's got to get all of his ducks in order first, get his monies in order. You know what I mean? Which is good. He's got a very mature head. He's got a very sensible head at the moment. You see what I'm saying? Despite having a child too young, of course. You know what I mean? But he has got a vision of what he wants to do moving forward in terms of his relationship with Naya, his relationship with his child Anais. You know what I mean? And also the future he wants to have for himself. This kid is gonna go far as long as he's able to stay strong, because it's gonna be hard to do that with Anaya's mom in the freaking picture, amongst other distractions that will happen in life as well, because he's still very young. But either way though, right now, their relationship, honestly, is better than 99% of adult relationships right now, to be honest with you, worldwide. And I hope it really stays this way, you know what I mean? But now we're going to get into the last couple, and this couple, well, let's just say they are the complete opposite.
I don't want you to.
Well, it's a lot easier if I just hold it.
For you.
Okay.
Freaking dysfunction.
I'm trying to help her with everything I can, but I feel like she's always yelling at me because I messed up or I didn't do something right.
Now, this is something that Nate has spoken about previously as well, but how, you know, Emily's always complained about something. Nothing he does is ever good enough. And I feel so sorry for the kid, because he's really trying his best, you know, and she just doesn't appreciate any of his efforts. And it's so sad, because this is somebody who has had a life where his dad hasn't been there for him. And that is something that is definitely taking a toll on him, you know what I mean? So he's really trying to do better than what his father did for him, because his father was pretty much not there due to drinking and whatnot. Meanwhile, we got Daquan now, same thing. Obviously, he spoke about how his father wasn't there, so he wants to be there for his child, you know, and not make the mistake. The difference is that Daquan's with Anaya, and Anaya is actually allowing him to be the best parent possible, despite the fact that, you know, there were challenges. Meanwhile, over here now, Emily's got a far easier situation, okay, than Anaya, you know what I mean, in terms of the fact that her father has allowed her to move in with Nate, okay, with also Nate's mom, you know what I mean? Like, just imagine that one guy can't even stay in the same home as his child, his woman. Meanwhile, they've been allowed to be able to stay together, but yet she's not appreciating none of the efforts that Nate is making. I feel so sorry for this kid, no, because again, just like Daquan, really trying to do the best, do the most, you know what I mean? But sadly, he's stuck with somebody who's unappreciative right now.
I've noticed that Emily relies on Nate a lot. He does the diaper changes. She wakes him up to help her feed the baby in the middle of the night. He forgets something, then it's, well, Nate did that. Nate.
You see what I'm saying? He's doing all these things, but yet she still wants to put blame on him. For what reason? What benefit do you have? You know what I mean? Like, come on. And the crazy, just because she's a bit older than him, she thinks that she's better than him. I've noticed that throughout the season.
Nate forgot that, and I just hope that she is able to communicate a little bit better.
Listen, that's all we can ever hope for her to be able to, you know, recognize that Nate is really doing his best, you know what I mean? And that's just that. Appreciate the man that's in your life and is trying to help you raise the child that, you know, that you're giving birth to for both of you, you know what I mean? And again, you know, also appreciate the fact that you've got a dad that's allowed you to move out and live with him and his mom, and be appreciative of the fact that he's got a mom that's allowed you to move in with them, because she knows that your mom hasn't been there for you. So therefore, she's going to try and give you that motherly role. You know what I mean? There's so much, the support system is so flexible and so relaxed for them. The fact that she's making it hard for Nate is bizarre to me. Meanwhile, Daquan, he hasn't got that flexibility. You know what I mean? He's got a challenging mother over there, you know, in Anaya's mum, you know what I'm saying? Which is very, very unnecessary. It's so sad. Then obviously, you know, we got Katie, we got Graham, you know, obviously they got mothers who are very supportive, which is good, you know what I mean? They got parents who are not stopping them in getting in their way. I mean, listen, there's definitely potential for Katie and Graham to really make it work. It's just that Graham's situation with his mum is just, he needs to understand where his priorities lie. If he can understand his priorities lie with his child and his woman, then Emily, then that means Kaylee and Graham will be more than fine. Do you know what I'm saying? With Anaya, if her mum can just be relaxed a little bit, then that'll be phenomenal. And Emily just needs to wake the F up and stop being a little brat. You know what I mean? Obviously, I would comment about Lawrence and Lily, but they've already had their kid way back. So they're not new to having a kid right now. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily the same thing. As well as Jenna and Luke and XYZ. No, Jenna and Aiden, not Luca. Luca's a son. But nonetheless, though, let me know your thoughts, your opinions, and we can obviously talk about it in the comment section. With that being said, peace.